The plan for this joint is to cut it pretty much in half. I'm actually gonna have to add on to one of them, so it'll be not exactly half, but all that to say is 2 saddles on each end, cut it in half, and these will be our 2 upright legs. All right, so on this project, rather than laying it out, I'm going to use a template. I've already marked it once, but I'm not sure if I got it on film, so I'm gonna pretend it's not marked. But another reason I need to check this again is because when I'm using a template, I like to mark where, like this template, like right where it meets is the center. That way I know where the center of my throat is, and I can line that up. Whenever I go to build the entrance, I can make sure that's directly on the side, because whenever we build it, this throat will be on the side here. So I forgot to mark my center anyway. So I'm gonna put this back on here, line it all back up with my mark. But whenever I do put on this template, the main deal is making sure all the slack's out of it and making sure that these line up, because you don't want these being, this is dramatic, but you don't want them crossed like that. You want to make sure they're totally parallel, in line with each other. And another thing that I'll probably do on this pipe is brush it off now that I've got my line, because it's got some tar left on it. From what I've heard from old timers that I've worked with, they used to coat the pipe in tar versus what we call pipe dope. That's what we call it nowadays, but epoxy maybe is what it is. I don't know the technical name, but it's green instead of black. It's not tar. Well, actually, it's probably several different colors, not just green. Anyway, all right, everything looks good. I'm straight here. I'm on my line everywhere else, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark the center there. I'm gonna put a punch mark. I'll probably even put my angle on there and run a line on down just so I don't lose it. Ping! Breaker 19 radio check. Over. All right. Rolled my punch mark back up here where I can see it good, and I'm just gonna line this seam back up with that punch mark. Really and truly doesn't matter, to be honest. The only reason I put it is kind of out of habit. Well, that's not entirely true. I do too want this to be my throat, because there's a slight dent on the other end of this pipe, and I'm trying to put that dent in line with the fence, so therefore I want it in the throat, because it's about, I forget how high, between 3 and 4 foot high, and for no bigger than it is, whenever they go to tie the fence into it, as long as they're coming in directly to the side of it, it should dang near take care of the dent, you know, do away with the dent. And if they don't, it's a slight dent. It's not a big deal, but just little things that I try to think about. That's the deal with using used pipe, but new pipe like this would, I don't have any idea on an exact amount, but I'm sure new pipe is probably twice as much as this used pipe. I'm really excited about this entrance, and I'm excited that we're working with 12-inch, because 12-inch is common weld test for pipeline, 12 on 12 branch test. So this right here, a 12-inch, putting this 12-inch template on this 12-inch pipe is brings back memories of the pipeline. Another reason I wanted to buff that tar off is so this template would lay as flat as possible on this pipe. but also it's gonna help me cut this, because if there's any tar on this, if I marked over the tar, my line would have disappeared essentially whenever I was cutting. So a couple different reasons I brushed the tar off. All right, now that I've got this side marked, ready to cut, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other end of this joint here. The plan for this joint is to cut it pretty much in half. I'm actually gonna have to add on to one of them, so it'll be not exactly half, but all that to say is 2 saddles on each end, cut it in half, and these will be our 2 upright legs. See that moisture come out? The more preheat, the better. Less alligator. I'm trying to keep my torch 90 with the pipe. Like pretend you're cutting on plate. You want the torch to be 90 with the plate. All the way down. Or throughout the whole cut. In other words, constantly changing your angle of your torch. One more saddle down yonder, and I'll probably grab the bevel machine to make a cut in the middle. Yeah, because I want to bevel one side since we'll be adding a piece. So we'll go ahead and make an actual weld in the bevels whenever we add that little 3-foot section, just under 3-foot piece we need to add. All right, now that we've got this piece cut in the middle, I need to move this piece. I got a little bit ahead of myself here. I'm gonna set it down, probably roll it over there out of the way. That way I can pick these up and move them. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the short piece that I need to that piece over there, I believe, to the far piece on the other end of this. Do that, set this piece back up, and then move these 2 leg pieces in place. Start fitting up the 8-inch. But first, let's see how much one end of this roughly 36-foot piece of 12-inch 250 wall weighs. This is a scale that we use for our beef business. I've got it in between the strap and my gin pole chain fall, and now I'm going to slowly lift it up. Now I did go ahead and do this before just to make sure this scale was big enough, because it looks like it's got a capacity of 660 pounds. Let's go ahead and lift it up and see how much it weighs. Or show you how much it weighs, because I already have an idea. All right, we're not off the ground yet. It's at 315 pounds almost. One little pull of the chain, it went 100 pounds, or almost 100 pounds. All right, we're off the ground. And we're at 400 and almost 50 pounds. So one end of this 36-foot long 12-inch 250 wall weighs 450 pounds. Now I'm not an engineer, so I couldn't tell you what the whole thing weighs, because I don't believe it's just half. Because you'd have to do some crazy math to figure out what that whole piece weighs. Luckily for you and I today, we can just Google what does 12-inch 250 wall weigh. Most likely you're going to find a pound per foot. I don't know what that is, but check it out. Something that's good to know. All right, now we're ready to add some pipe to this one here. Got a little old bevel on it. But we'll have to save that for the next video in this project series, if you will. Until then, for more helpful resources, check out our website, arosswelding.com. Under the Education tab and under the Resources tab, you can find several different tools lists. Under the Shop tab and under Digital Prints, you can find digital prints for different things that I use in my videos, the gin pole being one of them. And depending on when this video gets published, we are working on digital prints of these overheads that I'm building. That way you can build your very own entrance and have all the measurements ahead of time versus having to do as much thinking that I'm having to do with building these for the first time, if you will. Different sizes of pipe, deciding how much hangover, and just any other little decisions that come with building something without having a print. So I'm excited about those prints whenever they're available on the website. I hope that they make your life that much easier and more enjoyable. Thanks for coming along with me today. I hope you have an awesome weekend, and remember, learn something every day.